If you're running a small team, you already know the absolute headache that expense management can be. Well, today, we're going to dive into a simple, straightforward blueprint for a stress-free expense workflow, one that's actually going to save you time and, let's be honest, your sanity. Let's get right into it. Does this sound at all familiar? You're constantly chasing down crumpled receipts, your team members are waiting weeks, maybe even months to get reimbursed, and there's just this cloud of frustration that hangs over the whole process. This isn't just an accounting issue, it's a massive morale problem.
But here's the good news. It really doesn't have to be this way. Together, right now, we're going to build a clear, actionable system from the ground up. Something that works for you, works for your team, and hey, even makes your accountant happy. So first things first, let's just acknowledge the problem, right? For small teams, maybe under 10 people, what should be a really simple task often just spirals into this complete mess of spreadsheets, lost receipts, and so many wasted hours.
Yeah, these are the classic symptoms. You feel like you're drowning in this sea of paper, you're basically nagging people to submit their expenses, and you're spending your valuable time on bookkeeping instead of, actually growing your business. And like we said, that slow reimbursement process, it just eats away at trust and morale.
All right, so where do we even begin to fix this? Well, you might think the answer is some fancy new app, but it's not. We start with something way more fundamental, just clear, simple rules.
Look, before you can track a single dollar, your team needs to know what they can and can't spend money on. And the absolute key here is to avoid some 20-page legal document nobody's ever going to read. All you need is a single, easy-to-understand page. That's it.
Just look at how simple and powerful an example like this is. This one sentence gives total clarity on three crucial things: a threshold for no approval, a threshold for approval, and the one non-negotiable rule: always get a receipt. It's direct, it's clear, and it sets expectations perfectly. And here's the real magic. When you have rules this clear, you can get rid of 90% of those super awkward, hey, about this charge conversations. See, this isn't about micromanaging. It's about empowering your team to spend confidently because they know the rules of the game. So now that we have our policy in place, now we can talk about the next step, choosing your tool. And the goal here is all about simplicity and consistency.
You've basically got two main paths. You can go with a shared spreadsheet. It's free, which is great, but it's all manual work and super prone to errors. Or you could use a dedicated app. Sure, it has a monthly cost, but it's built for speed, often letting you log an expense in literally seconds.
But listen, and this might be the most important point in this whole section. The crucial thing isn't which tool you choose, it's that you choose one and you stick to it. Standardization is everything. When every single person follows the exact same process, your workflow becomes predictable, smooth, and just easy.
Okay, next up, let's talk about timing. Because probably the single biggest killer of any expense system is waiting until the end of the month to try and sort everything out in a panic. Instead, you want to build a real-time habit. It's just 3 super simple steps. The second a purchase is made, you transact. Then you snap a photo of the receipt right then and there. And then you log it into your system immediately. The whole thing takes, less than a minute.
And the benefit of this little habit is massive. You completely eliminate that awful, dreaded expense day at the end of the month. You know, the one where everyone's trying to remember what they bought 3 weeks ago based on a crumpled receipt they just found in a coat pocket? This real-time approach keeps everything accurate and always up to date.
So, with expenses being captured as they happen, the system is starting to hum. The next step is to create a totally predictable rhythm for approving and paying everything out.
We do this with something called a review cadence. Now that sounds a little formal, but really all it is a small, scheduled appointment you have with your expenses. Instead of letting them pile up, someone, maybe it's you, maybe it's an office manager, just spends 15 minutes once a week to review and approve everything. It's a tiny bit of effort that prevents a huge job later.
And that simple review cadence leads directly to a much faster, more predictable reimbursement schedule. You can make a crystal clear promise to your team, something like, all approved expenses are paid out within 7 days. Just knowing exactly when they'll get their money back is a huge boost for trust and morale.
And hey, let's not forget your accountant. A good system makes their life way easier too. By sending them clean, categorized reports every quarter, you're not just getting ready for tax season, you're basically making it a complete non-event, a total breeze. And finally, we have to remember that no system is going to be perfect right out of the box. So the last crucial step is to build in a process for making it better over time. And this is why it all matters. When you get this right, the payoff is just huge. You and your team get to spend more time on the real work, the stuff that actually matters. Your team is happier and more trusting because the system is fair and fast. And the whole financial side of your business just becomes clearer and way less stressful.
Remember, this workflow should be a living, breathing thing. So, check in with your team every few months. Just ask these simple questions. What's working? What's frustrating you? What's taking way too long? By actually listening and making those small tweaks, you'll make sure your system keeps working for your team, not against them. So the real question is, what's the first change you're going to make?